All right, Shalom. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of the great millstone that rule well through the scriptures. Peace to the 144,000 and the rest of the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kaya from GMS Indianapolis, Indiana branch. The other two camps is GMS Gary and GMS Bloomington. And this will be basically a GMS word search. Just do a lesson based off this word. I was reading in the book of Numbers, the 12th chapter, actually. And then I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to read the 11th chapter, because sometimes you got to, sometimes the chapters like flow into each other. So maybe towards the end of the previous chapter will help give you some insight going into the next chapter. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's, it's not, but sometimes it is. But anyway, the Spirit had me jump to the 11th chapter. And I looked up this word, let me see, mixed multitude. And this is what the lesson will be about. Basically, the mixed multitude. And what was the mixed multitude, right? When we were leaving Egypt, all right, there were some Egyptians that followed us, right? That was mixed in with us. Around that time, we was in Egypt for 400 years. We was in there 400 plus years. The bulk of that was the captivity, because remember, we went there during the famine, and Joseph was second in command, so he gave us the best part of the land, Goshen. All right, so you can what's the word? You can infer that we was mixing in with them. That's Israel always have been like that. Israel always been mixing in with the heathen, and then with the judges and the plagues coming down, those 10 great plagues Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai sent. It's only it's obvious that some of them would have been like, I'm going with y'all. So now you have you in the wilderness and you have a mixed multitude. So I'm gonna start at the top. And when the people complained, Numbers 11:1, it displeased the Lord, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them and consumed them that were in the uttermost parts of the camp, the outskirts. And the people cried unto Moses, and when Moses prayed unto the Lord, the fire was quenched. And he called the name of the place Taberah, which is Thaba Ira in the Hebrew when you look it up, which means burning, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them. And the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. And the children of Israel also wept again and said, who shall give us flesh to eat? Now I'm look up mixed multitude real quick. And that looks like a sop. And it's a collection, rabble, collected multitude, okay? It says, gathered up together, a promiscuous assemblage of people. That's a interesting combination of words, because promiscuous basically is always used to describe, an unfaithful woman. Well, that's the same way that Israel was, unfaithful to the Most High, complaining, murmuring, and not having faith, and also whoring and serving after other gods. But who was influencing them? The mixed multitude, which were the heathens. All right. At that particular time, the Egyptians that followed them and came with them, and also, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it might have been some people from Jethro too. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that real quick. If I can't find it, it's cool. Let me see. Let me see. Exodus 18:1. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that the Most High had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the name of the one was Gershom, for he said, I had been an alien in a strange land. And the name of the other was Eleazar, for the God of my father said he was mine help. Elizar. And no, for the God of my father. Let me just look up, see what Eleazar is. Aliyah Izar. Yep, Aliyah Izar. Yep. So it says, let me see. Okay, that was Jethro's, that was Moses' father-in-law. He came. Okay. But anyway, let's go back to the Numbers. Was it Numbers? Yeah. Right. So it says a promiscuous gathering. Right. The mixed multitude, the heathen, was always influencing our people to go off. See how they got the lusting, and you got the basically putting an idea in their head. So this is Proverbs 12:26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor. Who are the righteous? The Israelites. We're more excellent than our neighboring Gentiles or heathens. All right. Because you look at our land, Israel, we bordered with Moab, Ammon, Edom, so our neighbors going into the heathens, we're more excellent than them. We're more excellent than them. How and why? Because we got Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and we got his statutes, laws, and commandments. But the way of the wicked seduceth them. All right. So the way, meaning how they handle things, how they do things, their statutes, laws, and commandments seduce us. We get our people get curious about them. Yeah, you got Tina Turner, where she's dead now. She's good. She's in heaven. She's in her right state of mind. She got all into Buddhism. This is what helped me come out of that dark time I was in. And now you got these the so-called black women and black men too, and so-called native and Latinos and men and all women. They're into this tarot stuff. That's the new thing now, the tarot and the zodiac and all that. And these people, they look funny. Especially the women, their hands. Some of their hands, I don't know what it is, but those witchy women, just their hands is more often rougher than not. It's always like a certain look to them, like a certain unkeptness about them. Anyway, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth them. All right. So let's go back to that word. Numbers 11:4, mixed multitude again. Promiscuous assemblage. It says collected, diminutive, whence contemptuously a mixed crowd, scraped together of men of all kinds. Colovies, who added themselves to the Israelites. All right. Which word is itself a diminutive used in contempt. Right. So even though because what'll happen is you'll have, and which I believe I might have heard this before when I was in the world, you will have this falsely used as an example of the Lord, dealing with the heathens. All right. You'll have that, misuse, whether it be Christians or whether it be, certain Israelite camps that believe all nations can be saved. They were like, well, what about the mixed multitude? Well, we're gonna deal with that now. Now, It reads the word itself is used in contempt. Yeah, it's a mixed multitude, but it's unholy because it's not supposed to be. Now, when you read Exodus 11:7, it says, oh, let me just go to it. It says, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. Yeah, you heathens are likened unto dogs. All right. Against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So there's a difference between us. And I want to look up difference because I never looked it up before. But there's a difference between us and these heathens. All right. And you can mix it together. But what happens is when you mix certain things, it's weakened. See, when oil and water don't mix, right? Certain things you ever mix it up, especially, when you, let's say you're making a smoothie or when you're putting your powders in there, you put your juices or whatever in there. Sometimes you might put certain oils in there, like tinctures that have oil in it, like oregano or whatever, and you'll notice it'll be at the top, little goblets of the oil-based things at the top. It don't mix well. All right. It's or like how you make the smoothie and then it'll mix, but then as you let it sit, it separates because there's a difference. All right. So let me look up difference. Pala, to be distinct, marked out, be separate, be distinguished. Yeah, we are distinguished. One of the most ultimate things that distinguishes us is the statutes, laws, and commandments. All right. And through that and our connection with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the way he made us in general, we're the apex when it comes to you other heathens and nations, when it comes to a creation in general. All right. The Israelite man is the apex of creation. That's scripture, But right. So back to that word. Let me see if there's more on that. Which it is, but just to put it back on screen, it said the word colluvium. And I'm like, okay, now what the hell is a colluvium? We looked that up, right? It says colluvies. Yeah, it says colluvies, and then I looked up colluvium. Let me see real quick. Colluvi. It says colluvies is a word that I don't like reading the AI overview. It says collection, gathering, and accumulation of foulness. See that? See the when we read it in the when we read it here, looking parentheses, it says which word is itself a diminutive used in contempt. So this is not a positive word. It's a mixed multitude, but the connotation behind it is negative. It's the mixed, even the way it's spelled. It's Mixt. It ain't Mixed when you look at it in the scripture. Just to point that out. I noticed that. I'm like, damn, it say Mixt. Right? You see that? There we go. At the beginning of verse 4, and the mixed multitude. Right. So now we look up the word colluvi. Says collection, and gathering, and accumulation of foulness. All right. There's more too. There are 3 meanings listed in OD's entry for C. Okay. Translation: muck, decayed matter, refuge, sewage. All right. Look, filth, excrement. The cesspool. Pig's foot, refuge, sewage. Yeah. It was another one that I liked. Yeah, this one I liked. Look, Wiktionary, right? It says filth, coluvies. It says coluvies, genitive coluvi, fifth declension. I gotta look that word up, declension. I'll look it up now real quick. My bad, I should have looked it up before. But in the grammar of Latin and Greek and other languages, the variation form of a noun. Okay, all right. That's neither here nor there. It says dregs, no, filth, dregs. This is the part I like. An impure mixture or medley, right? It was an impure mixture or medley. Why? Because the influence that they had. Verse 4, and the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting. Now let's deal with the lusting. And look the word up. Awa, to desire, incline, to covet, right? What? They say what? We remember the leeks. We remember the fish. All right? You got us out here eating this manna. We want some meat. Yeah, but where did Israel get that idea from? Why was Israel talking like that? They was influenced by the mixed multitude, the heathens being amongst us. All right? Now I'm going to get it in the Strongs. It says what? To bend, to inflect, whence to turn aside. Right? Now, let's grab Deuteronomy 31 and 29. Deuteronomy 31, 29. For I know, this is Moses speaking, for I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days, because ye will do evil in the sight of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. Now, Israel don't need help to be wicked. You know, you got wicked Israelites, you know, but the heathen help anyway. You got some jakes that's like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like doing Jim Crow South, you know, post-slavery, Reconstruction period, if I'm getting that right, you know, early 1900s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. Was Jakes committing crime? Was so-called Negroes committing crime? Latinos, Native Americans? Yeah. But it was few, far in between in comparison to now. You know, the percentage was much, much less than now. So you always had hooligans and all of that. But then what happened when we got, when they ended segregation? Did our people get much, much, much worse or much, much better? Yeah, the more we got attached to the heathen, the worse we became, you know? So let me jump to, we read Deuteronomy 31 and 29. And our people turned aside, right? But the heathen helped, all right? Now, ultimately, everything was the purpose of the Most High. All right. See, because the Lord, that you realize when you read the scriptures, he's always that phrase, I'm getting two birds with one stone. You realize the Lord does that all the time. It might be 3 or 4 or 5 birds with one stone, you know, but that mixed multitude, the fact that they was amongst us during that time does not have nothing to do with the heathen being saved, because what was the result? Death and judgment because of the mixed multitude. All right. And they was getting killed, as well as the Israelites that was cleaving unto their ideas. Notice that in the wilderness, there was a whole bunch. And maybe that's why the Lord just had them in the wilderness before they got to the promised land. No, I'm about to kill y'all. And at the same time, we got it right here. This is Judges 2, starting at verse 21. It says, I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel. Prove mean test. Are you going to stick to my ways, or are you going to be influenced by their ways? Whether they will keep the way of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to walk therein, as their fathers did keep it, or not. See, it was the heathen nations. He didn't allow Joshua to defeat them all, because that next generation had to be proven and tested too. The same way the previous generation was proven and tested through who? The heathens of the mixed multitude. So hopefully this was a edifying lesson through the Holy Spirit. All praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Kakodash. Shalom.